We left off 39, page 39. He explained, Mesilas Yesharim, the Ramchal page, Lamites. He speaks about atzlus, laziness, laid-backness, rather than alacrity. And he says that if a person is drawn into this, and he says it doesn't happen at one time, meaning that things start the regression to a point where you're going to be in violation. It's gradual. Person goes, he's drawn from one level of evil to another until a person is drowning in the tachlis, in the most extreme level of evil. I'll give you an example. A person is too lazy to daven with a minyan during the week. Distracted, whatever it is. So initially, he davened with a minyan in shul. He says the full davening. At home, he cuts corners. So he abbreviates it a little bit, leaves certain things out. Of course, in Shalom it says, when it comes to the halukas, you say the third and the fifth, and the that's enough. Doesn't say all the halukas. Then there's a question of little time passes, time constraints. Baruch Shem Asher Yishtabach. Right? But of course, you have the end. Then he's rushing out. Usually he says the Yud Gimel Likra Emuna, and he says the Sheish Schiras, that goes gradually. Everything eventually starts slipping. The Shemon Esrei was focused, he's no longer focused. And Mincha, eventually he stops saying Mincha. And this happens. It's only because what? Because initially he wasn't fully engaged. Gradually it's a slippery slope, and it starts fading out. Person is not going to study sufficiently. And because he doesn't have a sufficient amount of education, because initially he didn't learn sufficiently, so when he's going to try to learn, he's not going to fully comprehend what he's reading, what he's learning. This person has certain skills, learning skills. You never develop the skills. So later when you try to learn, you're going to have a whole different understanding. It's always tell over the story of Moshe. This person had written Moshe that he has a very a very novel understanding of Shach, who's the main commentator in Choshen Mishpat, and he writes Moshe, which was phenomenal insight, ingenious type of interpretation. So Moshe writes him back. He says, I studied that Shach 186 times, and not even as a consideration that I ever consider your understanding of the Shach. You understand? So this man thought what he came up with was profound. It's one of a kind of an insight. And you have to be this genius to say it. Moshe says, you understand, it doesn't begin, doesn't end. It's baseless. But why does a person come up? Because if a person has a sense, understands what's right and what's wrong, he wouldn't even consider it. But if a person didn't learn it sufficiently, didn't apply himself sufficiently when he should have, so when you read it, it's what meets your fancy. It sounds good. I think I could put it over. I think people will be impressed. It'll touch people. It's like some of these rabbis. They give the Shabbos Gadol Rosh, and they'll have a printout from Shakespeare and something else, and they'll hand it out with pictures. And this is part of Shabbos Gadol Rosh to be given. They have visual aids. This is the Shabbos Gadol Rosh. How did you think about this? Even to integrate it into the Shabbos Gadol Rosh. Person who really has an understanding what Torah is, well, it's the audience. You don't go down to the audience, you bring the audience up to you. The answer is because these people, if they would have studied as they should have studied and understand the innate Kedusha and what Torah is and the seriousness of it, they're not getting all these other printouts and visual aids and whatever it is to make comparisons between something else, between Chol and Kodesh. To be continued.
I look at that as packaging.
Okay. When a person you bury, Alan, you got to listen to this. When you bury a person, it's also packaging. You put them in a coffin, it's packaging.
No, listen. You've got to make something taste nice.
You could make it taste nice differently.
But yes, but there are other ways as well. At least you get them in the front door because
You don't go to the law to eliminate it.
It's okay. Certain things are okay. Certain things are.
Packaging, it's an enticement.